here's Brody Brazil.
Well, there's certainly no shortage of sports news coming out of Sacramento these days, beginning with Sacramento State and their initial and continuous push and bid to join the Pac-12 as a conference. You've obviously got the A's playing temporary seasons at Sutter Health Park in Sacramento. The Kings are a contender every year now back in the NBA, so that's also going on. And now this, Sacramento Republic FC is pitching a brand new soccer stadium, which has a lot of the approvals now in place. It's got some agreements to get this done. The team is actually selling a majority stake of itself. We'll talk about that in a second, but this Railyards location really had nothing to do with the recent election, had everything to do with the deal taking so long, and it's finally been struck between Sacramento and the team. Let's first talk about the location here in the Railyards, and to kind of set the scene, there's the Sacramento River, there's Sutter Health Park, technically in West Sacramento, there's the Golden One Center downtown, and right there, literally named after the Railyards, is the Railyards location. The train station for downtown Sacramento and the train museum famously are right around the corner. But there's all that space, all that land and acreage, and it's not far away from downtown Sacramento. It's easily accessible. It's just kind of been sitting there for decades, vacant for decades. It's 240 acres at this Railyard site, and they've talked about doing a number of different things there. A Major League Baseball stadium, which now largely seems off the table if this project is definitely moving forward. They had also at one point talked about putting an NBA arena for the Golden One Center and the Sacramento Kings at this Railyards location, but it obviously never got done. So what does Sacramento Republic FC want to do? They want to build a 12,000-seat soccer stadium by 2027. This would transplant them from Cal Expo, where they're currently playing, a little bit closer to north of downtown. The cost of the stadium, $175 million. Cost of the infrastructure surrounding it, $42 million. That adds up to $217 million total, which, as I understand it, like we have not seen the term sheet yet. That's due to come out in the next several days. As I understand it, the team and its new ownership is initially going to cover all of that and then get reimbursed for the infrastructure alone, which largely makes sense. And the way they'll get reimbursed is through a infrastructure finance district. This site could also include a 3,600-seat music venue, which is a little bit separate from the team. There's a paint shop, I suppose, for that Railyards that they're going to redo that building and make it a music venue. Apparently, they already have a partner for a concert-type scenario over there. So the formal term sheet, again, it's being proposed this upcoming week on November 12th. That's why we don't have all the full details right now, but we understand as of the other day, there was a press conference. This was announced. They have a partnership. They have an agreement. They see eye to eye on a lot of different things. And again, all of this initially privately funded and financed by Sacramento Republic FC. So the city's going to reimburse for infrastructure $42 million over time. I don't yet know that specificity of time. Is it 10 years? Is it 30 years? How long is that time frame? But $42 million, they'll get paid back for all the things like sewer and electrical and changing the roads, all the infrastructure surrounding the actual stadium, which they are entirely paying for. And the IFD, let's refresh everybody, the Infrastructure Finance District, this is special tax collected only at this site to pay back for things that happen at this site. And it's a common way of doing things in the modern era between teams and municipalities that if the site actually makes enough money, it pays back the person who fronted that money. In this case, it's the entity of Sacramento Republic FC. And all of this, by the way, in terms of soccer in Sacramento, and this is not an MLS team, but it could maybe propel the Sacramento Republic franchise into being an MLS team. That's something they've been talking about, aiming for, discussing now for several years, in fact, the better part of a decade, maybe a jump to MLS, and maybe this stadium is part of making that happen. But in terms of the business side of all of this, and we've kind of buried the lead here, Sacramento Republic FC is actually selling, to get this done, a majority stake in the team to Wilton Rancheria. Now, Wilton Rancheria is about to become the first Native American tribe to hold a majority stake, a majority ownership of a men's pro sports franchise. So in a lot of ways, this is historic. It gives an injection of money and capital and promise, and this is all part of the deal coming together because as it was before, this was not going to happen. And you may recognize Wilton Rancheria. I believe they are the proprietors of the Sky River Casino in Northern California. So they've got a lot already going on. They're trying to build on this. They want to make this area a lot more viable and a lot more productive, the Railyards, in terms of the north side of downtown Sacramento. This is a pretty ambitious play by the team's, I say former owner. He's still a part owner of the team, Kevin Nagle. He's going to remain CEO of the team. So there is that as part of this. He'll maintain a certain C-suite structure of the team, but he's not going to be the majority owner anymore. That's obviously Wilton Rancheria jumping in. The outgoing mayor, Darrell Steinberg, so he's had, if I recall correctly, 2 terms in office. This is the end of his second term in office, and he's been working on this for quite some time. And I know everybody's going to tie this move to what vote might have just happened or what the election played into this becoming a reality. It has nothing to do with it. It's just the timing of this being Mayor Steinberg's final move, final thing that he wanted to get done before he leaves office in now less than a month. And so he's he had been working diligently on it, got it done, and now this is a plan for Sacramento. And again, the Railyards, as much as we talk about Sacramento Republic moving in, almost a 20,000 seat soccer stadium being there, a concert venue, and this is still 200 acres. And I'm not crossing anything off the list yet, but this would have easily been a permanent Major League Baseball solution. If, in fact, the Athletics, or any other Major League Baseball team were to ever call Sacramento home, there's no question that Sutter Health Park is just not that long-term, not that permanent fit. And so I'm not saying there's not other options for Major League Baseball stadiums in Sacramento. There could be one right to the south of Sutter Health Park if there's enough land in that parking lot. I'm not exactly sure how you make that work technically, although that's still in West Sacramento. The Railyards were just a perfect wide open space, all the right things you're looking for. And so it seems that the soccer team has now kind of beat Major League Baseball maybe to that punch. Or maybe there is 40 acres that they'll carve out and they'll keep aside for a potential Major League Baseball stadium. I think that remains to be seen here. I don't know that we can entirely cross it out, but I also don't know that it will be proposed as part of this term sheet. And again, this is a public-private partnership and maybe sets a tone for similar things to happen in the future in Sacramento with teams and beyond. And again, you look at the Athletics going to Sacramento, and Las Vegas has some financing questions as of right now, and nothing is exactly laid out. And maybe Sacramento is the easier option if there are investors in Sacramento. And look at Wilton Rancheria. They jumped right in and became a majority owner. Now, I don't know if that's the same for baseball, but would somebody in Sacramento be willing to do a similar thing? Because we know that Sacramento just made this deal. Hey, you pay for everything, no problem. We'll pay you back over time for the infrastructure. And maybe in this case, maybe the Railyards getting fixed up the right way, maybe this offers a new site for some kind of other stadium besides just soccer at the Railyards in Sacramento. So anyway, I didn't get to talking much about the renderings. I don't know if there's a whole lot to break down there. That looks like a pretty prototypical soccer stadium. It looks nice, and the location is great, and I know they're going to do impressive things with the area surrounding that stadium and the Railyards location, but kind of makes you wonder if this is it, if this is actually fully going to happen. It seems like it will. There's a lot of approvals that still need to take place, but this is certainly an interesting sports development for Sacramento. That's the end of this video. Really appreciate you making it here all the way to the final seconds. Thumbs up for that. That'll greatly help me, this video, and this channel. And by the way, also go down there, take a second, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. That way I can definitely see you back here next time.